Ah.
Ah, je suis.
Ah, je suis la banane.
Oh, je pète. Oh, je pète le chien.
Je pète les chiens. I farted on a dog.
Ah, je pète dans ton bouche.
What does that mean?
I farted in your mouth.
Oh, good one. Hello, people of the internet. My name is Megan, but you can call me Meg or Megs. My nieces and nephews call me Auntie Mega, which is hilarious. They actually don't realize that they're doing anything funny. They just think that that's my name. They think my name is Mega, and it's awesome. So my name's Megs, and this is my YouTube channel. I am super excited for today's video. It's long overdue, but that's fine because, like we already discussed in my last video, I have some anxiety towards posting. The space buns are a little bit out of control. Probably should address that right now. I don't know what you want me to do about it. I know that they scream like, please view me as like a cool indie chick. That's like 100% what I'm going for. But like, I think it's working. I'm super excited for today's video because we are flipping through my journal from 2020, the year that everybody wants to forget but probably never will. Oh my goodness, what an absolute gong show of a year. However, one highlight of 2020 was that I actually started journaling regularly and actually enjoying it. What? So you're gonna see, I started off the year treating this as a typical bullet journal. I started to see bullet journal videos on YouTube and I was like, oh, what is this? This looks like something my type A personality would absolutely love. And it proved to be a little bit of a stressor on my perfectionist self. Honestly, I haven't flipped through this in a while because I wanted to keep it kind of as a surprise so I can like actually genuinely react to some of these pages. But you're gonna see there's probably a month or two where I like really lose my motivation with journaling because the traditional bullet journal method honestly just wasn't working for me. I was really scared to mess it up. I honestly didn't really use my journal much to plan, at least not at the beginning, because I was working. If you don't know, I'm a teacher, so like I don't work from home. So I actually plan on just my Google Calendar. And so I felt like it was very weird to kind of plan in here and then also do it on my Google Calendar. Obviously I was using my Google Calendar more because that is portable. I could take it to work and like just sit at the computer. I was using my computer more for planning. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I like this method of planning and staying organized. Like it's a lot of work for sometimes little payoff, I find. And especially as somebody who's a perfectionist, like I would find if I did a page that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, like I just wouldn't use it. I would rip it out. I like glued over pages. I did collages over pages that I didn't like. It was just really stressful for my perfectionist personality. But then I found a video that honestly changed my life. Yes, that's probably a little dramatic, but like, what do you expect from me at this point? So I found a video that changed my life, at least it changed my journaling life, and that was Kat Karas's video. I'll link her video down below. She had done a journal flip through and she talked about how like, oh, this isn't a bullet journal, this isn't an art journal, it's just like my journal. And I do what I want in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so freeing to just like have a journal that you just do whatever the hell you want in it. And it's just basically for the sake of like memory keeping and pouring out your inner thoughts, but in like a beautiful aesthetic kind of artistic way. And instantly my fuel for journaling was reignited. And honestly, that's how I've been journaling ever since. And I love it. I found it so therapeutic, so good for my mental health, and like so refreshing to be able to let go of the perfectionism of bullet journaling and transition into a more just free journaling style. So you're gonna see as I go through this journal flip through, we start with like a very typical bullet journal style, and then at some point, again, I mean, it's probably when the pages start to get a little bit thicker in this girl. She thick, she cute. You're gonna see a transition to a different style, and that became the style that like really stuck with me and that makes me excited to journal every day, every month. It's been great. So as I go through, I'm gonna flip through each page. If I have something to say about a page, I'll stop and talk about it. If not, like I'll just kind of show you and then keep going. I'm just excited to kind of have a record for myself, like reflecting on my first year of regular journaling. Yeah, I think it'll just be fun. So I'm gonna talk about each page, and as I go through, I'm gonna hopefully share some journaling tips. Maybe if you're a person like me that struggled to really get into journaling, struggled to find like a rhythm and a flow that works for you, maybe I'll be able to give you some tips that could be helpful to you in starting your own journaling lifestyle. I personally love watching journal flip throughs, so hopefully you enjoy this as well. Please, if you're like watching my first few pages, like don't come for me for my first few pages. They're like not the nicest. Please, please, please stick with me to the end of the video because they get much cuter by the end. I guess lastly, before we jump in, I should just share what kind of journal I used. So this is the Leuchtturm 1917 journal. So regular bullet journal size is A6, I believe. This I think is a B6. This is much bigger than a regular bullet journal. And I actually didn't know when I got this that like this isn't standard bullet journal size. So now I'm like, I've been spoiled with this larger size and I will only ever use the large size going forward. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the journal flip through. Okay, very quickly before we start, we need to address the atrocity that is my fingernails. I don't know if you can see this, but one hand is very clearly longer than the other. No, my hand is longer than the other. My nails on this hand are very longer, much longer. Ooh, this video is off to a rocky start. Okay, so this guy, short and stubby. This guy, long and cute. Basically the reason for that is just, this is my guitar fretboard hand, so I can't have my nails long. You might be thinking, Megs, why didn't you just like chop both of your hands short and stubby for the sake of consistency? But you know, I kind of wanted to be like a classy female for the first time in my miserable life, so this is why there's such a big difference. However, I am not going to apologize for the color because, oh my goodness, how cute. Also, I should just say, this is going to be a long ass video. I'm sorry if you don't like long videos. I personally really like long YouTube videos because I just watch them like while I'm getting ready in the morning or whatever. But yeah, this video is gonna be long, so awesome for you if you like long videos like I do. Again, I'm going to make content on YouTube that I personally like from other creators, so yeah, it's gonna be long, but hopefully you enjoy. If you want to just skip through and just see each little page, you can do that. I will not be offended if you want to just skip through and look at my pages and not listen to me talk. However, if you choose to go that route, you might miss out on some mediocre jokes. For example, slightly too much information when it comes to my personal life, a lot of self-deprecating comments. So if that's content you don't want to miss out on, watch the whole thing. So here's my journal, open it up. First page is my title page, which I just did on the inside cover, 2020. Cute little pictures from Pinterest. I should mention that I do get a lot of my bullet journal materials from Pinterest, and honestly, like I feel like it's fine. It's my personal journal. Obviously, I'm not like selling this or like trying to play it off as if these were my images. It's my personal journal. I'm not going to like not use images I like just because of copyright issues. There you go. Getting that out of the way, we're good to go. Okay. This is my 2020 calendar page. I was just trying to do all the things that all the bullet journal people on the YouTubes and the Pinterests and the Instagrams, all the things those people do. So I did a year-long calendar. Did I use this? Absolutely not. I will not do a page like this again. It was pointless. It took a long time, and it just, I honestly never flipped back to it to even look at stuff. I would just look at my calendar on my phone. Would not do a page like this again. Okay, this begins the adventure in white glue. At this point in my life, I did not own a glue stick. You might be thinking, Megs, why didn't you just like go just buy a glue stick? I couldn't tell you. but I thought that white glue would be a good idea, and clearly it was not. As you can tell, it made the pages bubble like a lot, so obviously not the best idea to use white glue in your journal. But yeah, it made the pages obviously like a little crispy and crunchy. I don't actually mind like crunchy, crispy pages in my journal. Not in that way, you sickos. Get your mind out of the gutter. Just a little collage. I think I covered up a page I didn't like with this. Yeah, I did like a January calendar page. And it was ugly, so I covered it up with a slightly less ugly collage. I actually like doing collages in my journal because I feel like when I then go and look back at the pages, I can know like what kinds of things I thought were cool and the style that I liked, whatever. So I don't mind doing a whole collage page in a journal. Okay, here's my resolutions page. Obviously, again, wrecked by the white glue, where I put obviously my New Year's resolutions. This was the page in which I tried to utilize every single like quintessential bullet journaling thing that I could. So I did, you know, like the little flag here. I felt like that was very like quintessential bullet journal girl thing to do. The drop shadow, whatever. I think the only goal I actually didn't achieve this year was learning to sew. I did not do that, like not even close. I didn't even try, so that was a fail. But everything else, like I kind of nailed, honestly. Okay, first habit tracker. This is the format I'm going to use for the majority of my habit trackers in this journal. It was super easy to do, and that was probably why I used it, because a lot of the time I felt like I just needed to get my habit tracker down quickly so I could use it. So I did this kind of thing. Brain dump page. I actually like how this page turned out. I like the lettering, and I like that each idea in the brain dump is like different fonts to make it look slightly more interesting and to separate the different points without just having a straight list. So that's my brain dump page. Future planner. Okay, this one I also really didn't use. This was meant to be kind of more like a manifestation future planner. So in my mind, I wanted to use it to like plan things that weren't a guarantee, but things that I wanted to happen. Like, oh, at this date, I will move to Australia or whatever. I don't know if I've mentioned at this point in the video, but yeah, that's something that I want to have happen, is to move to Australia, where my husband is doing his dental school. So that was a goal, didn't happen, whatever. Yeah, so I did not use this at all. What I actually just ended up doing with this at the end was I just kind of went back afterwards and wrote in some things that I did. So I had a trip to Jasper with my friend, and here I went to see a play that some of my students were in. So I put the tickets from that in there. Few different things. Like I had a couple things here, like I was supposed to have my students perform in the music festival in my town, but obviously this was canceled due to COVID-19 pandemic, so there you go. Same thing here, singing at Festival of Trees, canceled due to the pandemic. November 25th, Josh comes home. Best day of 2020, hands down. That's when my husband came home from Australia and our 2-year long distance marriage was finally over. Best day of the year, hands down. I did like the idea of marking off my weekends with just a little line here so that I could kind of separate my days, because obviously by the time I get to this month here, it's hard to line up the days from the left side all the way over to this column. So I just use these lines to at least section off the weekends so that I don't get too lost moving from here to here. Okay, so this was my library page, or my books to read page. I really set a goal for myself to read more for fun in 2020. Honestly, all things considered, I probably should have read more. I didn't read a ton of books, unfortunately. Anyways, those were the books I read this year. This is my cute little shelf. I actually was really happy with how it turned out. I loved the little plants and the little typewriter I thought was super cute. Tried to keep it in a consistent color palette and just colored in the books when I read them. This page is just my gratitude page. Again, similar font to what I did for my brain dump because I really liked it, and similar structure to that page as well. Different fonts, just kind of spread out all over the place. Things that I'm grateful for, and I would just kind of add to it whenever I was feeling grateful for something, and then come back to it when I was feeling not so great about my life. Needed a little boost. Oh, okay, so this sounds interesting. Okay, so ignoring this like ugly Dutch door for a second, I did like an evening and morning routine page because I felt that this would help with my goal of being on time for work. So if I wake up nice and early at 5:30 a.m., did that happen? No, probably not. Thought it was cute with the little moon and the sun. I probably copied this from an artist on Pinterest. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I mean, again, it's my personal journal. I think you can learn a lot about art through copying other artists. That's my justification for this page. This was my first attempt at a Dutch tour. What I wanted to do was, I wanted to have a closet page on the next page. So I was like, oh, well, I should put like a little room divider to show that it's like opening my closet. And then, I don't know, I got this little curtain paper from an old flower arranging magazine that I thrifted. Anyways, here we go. We're entering my closet. Like honestly, I don't even like looking at this page. I think it's so ugly. But anyways, here we go. Entering my closet. Woohoo! This is kind of just the page where I wanted to compile styles that I liked at this time. And honestly, things haven't really changed much. I still love neutral colors. And then I just made a list of like outfit ideas, which I know is like also super lame, but again, supporting the getting to work on time goal, I needed to have some like go-to outfits that I could just throw on and know that they're gonna look good. Especially as a teacher, like you kind of have to have some tried and true outfits. So yeah, these are my kind of backup outfits if I can't think of anything else. Yeah, okay. This is just my February spread. I wanted to do like an audio cassette theme. Did I like stick to a theme? Probably not. That's one thing I should say is that I absolutely do not stick to themes, like ever. Habit tracker again, circles, nothing super interesting. Okay, and I guess that's all I did for February. Here's March, little abstract shape, pretty simple. Again, like this was when I felt like I needed to journal, but I wasn't feeling super motivated, and I was like, oh, I just have to do it. I just have to get my habit tracker down. I didn't have a lot of time to spend making like a crazy beautiful or extravagant spread. So here we go, there was March. So probably at this point you've noticed I did not use my bullet journal to plan like weekly tasks. Habit trackers were the only thing I really latched onto at the beginning of bullet journaling. Again, I was super unmotivated to do it because I hadn't yet found a journaling method that worked for me. So that's why like literally every one of these months is just title page and habit tracker. And then of course I have my like yearly pages. Like these are just kind of general generic pages that I come back to, which is honestly what I prefer to do, is just general yearly pages that I can fill out as the year goes on. That's what my current journal looks like. This was one of my favorite habit trackers. I posted this one on my Instagram. I think this was like the first bullet journaling post I ever made on my Instagram. I utilized this habit tracker, which I also found on Pinterest. I don't remember whose idea this was originally. I'm sorry. If you know, please let me know in the comments. I don't remember, but I actually found this habit tracker to be very motivating because I loved seeing what it was starting to look like as I filled in each square. I used, in most of this journal, I used actually watercolor markers, so the color is buildable. So I tried to do like an ombre effect going out. So I had that deeper peach towards the middle and then only did one stroke over these outside ones. And as you can see, I didn't do too bad with my habits this month. Ooh, this one's not my favorite. Again, I did this tracker again because I could see it through this page, so I was like, oh, I might as well reuse it. Like I can see the lines. But yeah, I think at one point in the month, like I accidentally used green instead of peach, and then I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just like make it multicolored. And I don't like what it looks like. But that's okay. Live and learn, it's fine. May, little peachy theme. This goes with this, by the way. I don't know why I did. Oh yeah, I did my habit tracker first because I could see it from the other page. Okay. Okay, first time I did like a monthly goal. Okay, June, cute. I really loved actually this little aesthetic rainbow theme. I actually think I stuck to a theme for this one. This is probably the first month that I actually stuck to a theme. Yes, I did accidentally write July at the top there. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Okay, again, another little Dutch door. This one I actually found to to be quite helpful. So here's what I learned about doing Dutch doors, because I feel like sometimes, like at least for me, I just wanted to do one because I thought it was cute. But as I've done a couple of them, I've kind of figured out a system. So basically I do a Dutch door when I have an idea for a spread that will take up 2 and a bit pages. So if I plan out a 2-page spread and I'm like, ooh, I think this is gonna be too small for what I want it to be, but I don't wanna turn the page to keep on going with that topic because then it'll kind of disrupt the flow, that's when I do a Dutch door. So I actually liked this a lot. Now I'm actually using my bullet journal for tasks because at this point I was in quarantine. My little task key here, I just had a brain dump of like, okay, these are things I need to do, and then I kind of scheduled them into my week. Clearly week 2 and 3, your girl was lazy. I don't really know what happened there. Then I have my top goals. I actually really like this, just kind of prioritizing what are the most important goals and then like just smaller tasks in a separate box. These are generally like longer term projects, things that I can't complete in just like one sitting. And then these are things that are a one and done kind of task. Okay, here are my June habits. Again, I did the circle thing, but I just flipped it because she's very creative, apparently. This one was cute. I wanted to just have a songs to learn, just to keep myself practicing making music. And then some of these were ones I actually uploaded as covers. So Grow As We Go is a cover on my channel, Days and Days, which if you're not a musical theater person, you probably have no idea what this is. But it's a song from a musical called Fun Home. Oh my goodness, it is so gorgeous. It's probably my favorite cover on my channel, honestly. But like it has like probably the fewest views just because people probably don't know what it is. But yeah, check that one out. This, like, I don't, what happened here? I don't know. I guess I just didn't plan out my squares well enough. So yeah, I did my best with that one. Oh, okay, I set a goal to learn something new every day. Okay, let's see how many days I actually did this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. Out of however many are in the month, like 30? Okay, but June, like, okay, she was kind of productive in June. Like, look at this. Look at how many pages I did in June. This ain't bad. But yeah, I guess I only learned 9 new things, so yeah. Okay, and then this is my last one for June. I did like a weekly goals page. Again, not consistent with doing them every week or whatever, but I must have just been feeling like, oh, I need some structure in this week that's coming up. So I did this. My July spread is here, and if you can't tell, I was trying to manifest moving to Australia, which unfortunately didn't happen. I mean, we were in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, still are for the most part. So, but yeah, I did this cute little suitcase theme. There's my little Australia on there. I really wanted to move there and be there with my husband, but that didn't happen. So we ended up not seeing each other until November of 2020. So like a lot of months after when I hoped to be able to see him, but that's okay. We made it through. We're all good. Okay. I like this spread. Again, it does not fit with this theme at all. Kind of had the idea of like, oh, I just want to like nourish my brain a little bit. And I found this cute little, I mean, cute, I don't know. It's from a medical textbook. Like, I don't think the author intended on making it look cute. But to me, this was very aesthetic. It was a vintage medical textbook that I had thrifted, and I cut out this little brain and then just put like plant stickers. I was like into the stickers this month. I had just gotten a delivery of stickers. I ordered a bunch of stuff from Shein, Romwe, I don't know, one of those fast fashion brands. The clothes kind of all sucked, but the stickers were okay. Continuing on. July habits, again, circle thing again, not super interesting. Yeah, I really shit the bed on this one, hey? I don't even know what to say about this one. So, I mean, I had a goal that I wanted to make music every day. I wanted to make music every day, but I was having a hard time figuring out what I should practice. So I just came up with a bunch of different tasks I could do that were music related. Some of them were smaller, like on days that I felt less motivated, I could just, you know, do 4 tricky measures in Claire de Lune. There we go. Or whatever. I had shorter tasks and then longer tasks, or days where I didn't feel like doing anything. List 10 musical accomplishments you were proud of. Honestly, I think this was a super good idea if I'd actually done it. I did 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. I mean, it's better than 0. And I mean, maybe that's something to take from my journaling process. Is just, I mean, if you write stuff down, you generally do more than you would have done if you didn't write it down. Like, I was motivated to color these in to an extent, just not motivated enough to color them all in. But if I hadn't have written it down, I probably wouldn't have done them at all. But I could keep coming back to it if I wanted to. I could probably maybe, yeah, color in a few more of these. Some of these I've done since then. Here we go, July weekly goals. Same kind of format that I did here. I liked this calligraphy with a thin fine liner around them. I thought that lettering turned out cute. And then I did this August spread. I wanted to just do something simple, but that still looked cool. So I picked a little abstract shapes theme. This is very bullet journaling. I actually thought I got into more like my current journaling style earlier on in the year, but this is still very bullet journaling. August habits, same circle thing. Oh, these were just like my invoices that I sent to my students. Wrote down who I needed to send an invoice to and whether they paid and how they paid and whatever, so I could keep track of that. Okay, here we are. Wow, it really took me to October to really figure out my journaling style. So I was not feeling super motivated to journal. Did I do anything for September? Oh, I didn't do a September spread. Oh my goodness, what a slacker. Okay, I mean, September was when school started back up again, so that's probably why I didn't journal very much. I just wanted to journal when I felt like it, and October is my shit. I love October so much. I love Halloween so much. So yeah, I wanted to just make a spooky little spread that was also kind of aesthetic. I did this cute little skull. Again, I got this from that vintage medical textbook, but then I like filled in each of the lobes with like something kind of spooky. I have some like spooky clouds or just like a little pattern. Lastly, I found this quote and I wanted to write a journal prompt on it, which is, yeah, that's what the next page is. We make our own monsters, then fear them for what they show us about ourselves. So a little bit spooky, but I thought it would make a great journal prompt, so I wrote about it. Yeah. This is my first like journal page. This is what works for me. I loved writing this. It was so cathartic. It was so good to just think about this prompt. And I mean, I'm not gonna read it to you because it's personal. I'm also not gonna like cover it because like, I don't know. If you want to be creepy and pause it and try to read my journal entry, like be my guest, but I think that's a you problem, not a me problem, if you decide to do that. So anyways, like, just don't read it, but if you do, like, whatever. Then this is the rest of that spread. This is kind of ugly, honestly, but at this point, I just didn't care. I just wanted to write. Okay, I don't love my little self-portrait here. It started out really cute, I remember. I think it's the hair. The hair is the problem. The hair is the problem. The face is super cute. I wanted to just do a self-portrait for this month because if you didn't know, November is my birthday month. So I was just like, this month is all about me and I want myself and others to know that. So anyways, November. I guess I had another brain dump in here too. Then again, another one of these spreads. So one tip I have is, especially if you were wanting to do journaling that is more like true journaling, not bullet journaling, I tend to not do anything unless it has like an aesthetic payoff. I like beautiful things. I like to make things look beautiful. That's more motivating to me than just like writing. So what I did with this was I just kind of put in images that I liked, that I felt kind of represented me. Same thing with this journal entry. I just put in spooky little images and then whatever space is left is where I write. So maybe that can be a tip for you, is if you're wanting to kind of recreate this style or get yourself into journaling but you need like an extra motivating factor, make a cute page with some cute pictures that you think are cute. Take a shot every time I say cute. I won't be because I don't drink, but like you do you. And then when you're feeling in the mood, you can fill it in with words. Honestly, I mean, it might not work for you, but it works for me and I like it. Oh, by the way, cute little skulls. I don't know if you can see them, but I like that cute little detail. Back to this. So I just did a 25 things I've learned in my 25 years of life. There you go. There's the continuation of that sentence. Oh, that's kind of cool. There you go. My title started here, ended here, and then I filled in the text along the way. And then, oh, this is okay, I think this is a journal entry that I just never, that's interesting, that I never put anywhere. So we're gonna just tuck it. Here's what we do. We tuck it in the pocket in the back. And here's what the rest of my 25 things I learned in my 25 years of life. Here's what the rest of that spread looks like. Okay, at this point in my life, I was in quarantine again because of a close contact at school. Some kids got the Rona, so I had to isolate because they were kids in my class at the time. Yeah. So anyways, these were things I wanted to accomplish during quarantine. I almost don't want to read them because did I do them? I did some of them. And then this I thought was kind of cool. I just like cut up a old, like those old file folders. I just thought it had kind of a cute vintagey look. And then these little watercolor segments are actually using, you've probably seen it on TikTok, that's where I saw it first, the like faux watercolor thing where you like use your markers and you scribble on a piece of like laminated paper and then you put some little water droplets and you stamp it. That's what I did here, and like, oh my gosh, she turned out really good actually. It was so easy and it looks so good. Same thing here. Again, utilize this little file folder to kind of just separate my goals or my weekly to-do list, tasks of the day, invoices. Ooh, I like this font. I started using this font a lot actually after this point. Yeah, just my invoice record for my private music studio. Not super interesting. Yeah, another make music every day goal. How'd she do? Not so good. Nice. 2 days of practicing, 1 day of voice and guitar, another day of all three. Ooh, she was feeling motivated that day. And then yeah, the rest of the 3 weeks after that were just a write-off, apparently. Practice notes. Oh yeah, I took notes after I practiced on, this probably was November 15th. I think I was preparing for a performance at this point. I was gonna be preparing for a Christmas show. Yeah, I think I talked about that on my future planner. I was going to be singing at a local festival called Festival of Trees, which is a Christmas festival. But then that didn't end up happening because of COVID. Same old story. Okay, yeah, this was my Festival of Trees set list. I just added the sticky note. This event ended up being canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I conveniently covered up some calligraphy I apparently didn't like. It's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. Maybe we'll put her here. Again, these are pictures from that floral guide as well. Use vintage books, guys. They're so cheap. Tip! That's a tip! I'm such a hot mess, oh my gosh. Purchase vintage books. They are so cheap. Go to a thrift store, get some books. Okay, this page is a little chaotic, but I don't hate it. Again, this is just a weekly tasks thing. I drew a little dumbbell, I guess, for what I wanted my workout to be each day because I wasn't on a workout plan at that time and I wanted to make sure I hit all the muscle groups. Let's see, how many days in a row did I do glutes? Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, okay, here I say glutes. JK, I meant abs and arms, lol. Nice. Okay, then I did glutes again. And then I guess I just didn't work out on the weekend. Yeah. Gave myself a little reminder. This was, I thought, gonna be my last week in Grand Prairie, which was where I was living at the time. Was it my last week? It must have been. It must have been. And I was feeling sad about it, so I was just like, I needed to write down all the things I wanted to get done, all the people I wanted to see in Grand Prairie before I moved. But then also I gave myself a reminder that I don't have to cram in every little thing, like I would be back at some point. So yeah, that's what that was about. Oh, by the way, this is a cute little sticker. What is this guy? He's not a pug. Sharpei? Oh no, he's a wrinkly boy and I like him. He's cute. Okay, this brings me to another tip. On days when you want to get your thoughts out, but you're not feeling like doing an entire journal spread, because like honestly, let's be real, this takes a while to do like a whole big spread like these. But on days where you're wanting to journal but you don't feel like doing a whole spread, what I do is this. I will write what I want to write on a page in a separate journal that is not my main journal. I get my thoughts out, I write because I'm feeling like writing at that time and I want to get my thoughts out with the intention that I will eventually glue these pages into my actual journal. And like, I don't know, you might not like what it looks like, but I think it's kind of cute. The spread is special to me because at this point, I was moving away from the town that I grew up in, and I had just moved back there for a couple of years while my husband and I were doing long distance. And as much as it was not an ideal situation, I built my music studio so much bigger than I ever thought I would be able to. And I had the most amazing students. Like I've said it before and I'll say it again, the hardest thing about teaching is not dealing with behavior or like the workload or whatever. Like the hardest part of teaching for me is saying goodbye to kids each year, whether like they're moving on to a different grade or they're graduating or I'm moving to a different place. Saying goodbye to students is so hard. What I wanted to do to remember my sweet, sweet students was I wanted to make a spread about them. I've always had a really hard time saying goodbye to students. Even before I was a teacher, I worked with kids with disabilities, and saying goodbye to them when they like aged out of their services or like when I eventually moved was so hard, and I just like would just cry about it. Like I just had a really, really hard time saying goodbye and moving forward. And I felt that this time maybe I needed to do something to help me get those emotions out. So I did a spread about my students, and like you'll see as I go forward, there's more about them. But I wanted to first off include just some notes and things I got from students before I moved. Oh my gosh, okay. Oh my gosh, this is like making me really sad. Journaling is great because I'm just transported back to this moment, and like I almost want to sit here and just read those letters right now, but I'm gonna keep going with the video. Maybe after I'll go back and read them and have a good cry. Yeah, I'm excited to look back at this for years to come. That's what journaling is for me at this point. And I think this is how I'll be motivated to journal for the rest of my life and make it a lifelong habit. It's just knowing that one day I can look back on the moments in my life that I don't want to forget. And this page does that for me. Also, like these little pieces of brown paper and the We Create thing. This was from a gift bag that one of my students got me. She got me a gift and it came in this cute bag and it said like We Create something, whatever. But I thought that these words worked kind of well with the idea behind the spread. Okay, I honestly like I'm having a hard time looking at this page. So I called it my songbirds because the name of my studio was Songbirds Music Studio. Yeah, this is where I just wrote about each one of my students. I just wrote about them, their name, their age, and just like things I loved about them and memories I didn't want to forget. I took screenshots of sweet messages that I got like from parents and students. I am a huge words of affirmation person, so like these messages, like I didn't want them to just go into the abyss of my phone. I wanted to have these forever. And this is kind of, I mean, we don't really get letters anymore with the exception of obviously these sweet ones that I got. Lots of times the messages that I get are through text and I wanted to save them. So yeah, these are some of my songbirds. Oh my gosh, okay. Some of these quotes are just hilarious. This was one of my students. Sweet little boy said to me, he told me, when I grow up, I want to be a comedian, a rock star, and to teach kids music in my basement just like you. So if you didn't know, at this point in my life, I was living in my mom's basement. A little embarrassing, but anyways, my husband and I were long distance. He was paying rent in Australia, so I was like, I'm not gonna just live on my own. Like, my family was also going through some like really hard trials at that time, so I was like, I'm just gonna live at home with my mom and my little brother. And yeah, so I taught those kids in my mom's basement. And I swear he didn't see anything abnormal about that. He was just like, that sounds awesome. Like, I want to teach kids in my basement one day. So I didn't want to forget that. I thought that was so sweet. Again, like if I didn't take the time to journal this, like I would have forgotten so many of these things. I'm so happy I did this spread. Oh my goodness. It took up so many pages. It was so worth it. Oh, and I guess, okay, it continued on to this side. Okay, 12/12/20, December 12th, 2020. I guess this was my December spread. I'd gotten some new alcohol-based markers at that time. I wanted to use them. As you can see, like these markers bleed through the page. So if you have alcohol-based markers, obviously they are not, like they're gonna bleed through the page. And then yeah, when I turn it, it's the same thing because it bled through. So I just, again, made it intentional and went over it with my fine liner. This was just my Christmas shopping page, things that I needed to do, how much I was spending. This was just a little December journal entry. Again, I think I probably did the pictures first, going back to that other tip. I also kind of like that this gives me a little bit of restriction because I could write like for a long time or not at all. So if I just give myself this like, okay, you have to just fill this page and this page, it's less intimidating. And it also just allows me to be concise and focus on the things that were most important about that month. So I want to just write about what December was like for me. Okay, so this one, wow, there's a lot going on here. This was kind of just my venture into doing like a daily journal. So like just writing a couple things that made me happy and then like also keeping track of health things. So at this point I was getting sick a lot and feeling like I maybe had some food sensitivities, but I wasn't sure. So I just wanted to keep track of that. This was also like a mood tracker. Yeah, it's just kind of a lot going on. Just like keeping track of like how much caffeine I had in the day, how my sleep was, if I took my vitamins, how my workout was, what I did for my workout. There's my little, like I just tried to keep track of fitness and health and wellness things in this daily journal. Continuing on to this page, I did an anxiety triggers and solutions page, just so I can kind of figure out what things tend to trigger my anxiety and like if those things happen, I mean, obviously I'm gonna try and avoid those triggers, but sometimes you can't. So if those things happen, some solutions that go with that. Yeah, I guess I didn't figure out the answer to this one. Maybe I will eventually. Ooh, okay, I actually remember exactly what was going on the day that I made this. My mental health was just like really bad that day. And I was just like, I feel like I just need to do something to calm myself. So I just wanted to doodle. I had gotten a couple of new markers and I was like, I just wanted to test them out without having to make anything beautiful or anything that was like difficult to draw. So I just did some doodles and then talked about some things that help me, self-soothing strategies if I'm having a bad day, bad mental health day, things that have in the past worked to help bring me out of a funk. So that's what this page is about. Yeah, okay. So again, this is kind of going along with my idea of doing a journal entry in a separate journal. Maybe I have like something I want to write down super quickly and I don't have time to actually put it in my main journal because I don't have time to like make it all pretty and stuff. So this is great for when I have something that I want to remember, something I want to write down really quickly, but like I don't have time to make a full spread. I will put it in a different journal. I've actually got a ton of just small little journals that are slightly smaller than the length and width of this journal. And then I just glue them in when I'm actually feeling like making it look pretty. These were pictures I actually had on my wall before I moved, and I wanted to remember that time in my life, and I actually had a really cute mood board on my wall that I liked, so instead of throwing those pictures away, I just put them in my journal and wrote about Christmas, I think, again. This one, again, just a random journal entry from earlier this month. A day I felt like writing but didn't feel like doing a full spread, so I wrote this journal entry and taped it in later. I also find, I think it's this journal, that I really like the way the pen feels on the paper, so sometimes I actually feel more motivated to write in this journal, also because it has lines, so I'm less worried about getting the lines straight. It's obviously harder to do that in a dotted journal page. This is just a couple of nice emails, because I'm a words of affirmation person. Nice emails from like fellow teachers, students, co-workers that, you know, told me I was doing a good job, whatever. Things I want to remember. Here's another sweet email from a choir parent. If you don't know, I worked with a boys choir. It's just so cool to get to be a part of it, and I got some really sweet emails from parents and students about that. And so again, I wanted to remember that because I was feeling sad about the season being cut short prematurely, obviously because of COVID. So yeah, I wanted to save that. Oh, and I liked this was very trendy, I feel like, in the bullet journaling community at this time, was doing like this little like old school computer theme. And this was another journal entry I saw in a wellness journal that I got my mom for Christmas, and then I wanted to make my own version in my journal. Write something you need to hear from you to you. If you are a fellow words of affirmation person, you know that it's practically impossible to have people say the things to you that you wish they would say to you all the time. You can anticipate things that you wish people would say to you, but of course it's never going to be exactly what you feel like you need to or want to hear. So you gotta just tell those things to yourself, and this was where I did that. Okay, this was just like a New Year's resolution brain dump, because I was trying to figure out what I wanted my resolutions to be for the new year, so I did those there. This was a more personal journal entry, so I wanted to just not have it like glaringly available if someone were to stumble across my journal, let's say. So this little flap of paper is definitely gonna stop them from reading this super personal entry, but anyways. And then if I have a multi-page entry that I want to glue into my journal, I just use some washi tape and I just like have it flip open like this. It might be a pain to read at some point, but it's also kind of fun. Like it kind of it's kind of a little bit of a challenge to read this journal entry, which I don't know, maybe will be fun, a fun little activity for posterity. I don't know. That's what I did. Okay. Ooh. She's an interesting one. This journal entry, again, was something I wanted to put in there that I needed to make look slightly more beautiful than just a sheet of printer paper with words on it. One of the best things I did for myself, here's what I wrote, was to start going to therapy. My therapist was awesome, and he would have me write essays about different things I was struggling with, ideas that were causing me grief. And yeah, I would just write essays, and he had me write an essay about happiness and how to be truly happy. And you know, I did some like scientific research, and I really wanted to include it. I wanted to include it in my journal. So I just painted over it so that like it's not obvious what it is right when you open it, but I can go back and look at it in later years. Oh, okay, this might be one of my favorite pages. We are getting close to the end now. I wanted to reflect on the artists I was loving most this year. So I included a bunch of names here, people that I listened to more than others this year. So this obviously isn't an exhaustive list of all of my favorite artists because that would take so long and so much space, but it was basically just people I got more into this year or that I discovered this year, artists that defined my 2020 year specifically. So obviously we've got Tyler, the Creator's Igor album, which, I mean, if you don't know, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life if you haven't listened to this? It is so good. If you want to hear me talk about my favorite artists and favorite albums in a different video, let me know. That's something I would love to do. I love talking about music, but that's not the point of this video today. So I'll just kind of go through who I was listening to. So Tyler, the Creator, obviously I listened to just a lot of him in general this year. He's probably my all-time favorite hip hop artist. He's just so, so good. This female hip hop artist called No Name, please look her up. Oh my goodness. A friend recommended her to me and like she is so good, you guys. Still woozy. If you know, you know. He releases one single at a time. So this was, oh my gosh, what's it called? This is gonna bug me. Okay, it'll come to me. Obviously Frank Ocean's Blonde album, I listened to nonstop this year. I got into Jacob Collier more this year. Also, again, if you know who he is, you know that he is like classical musician's wet dream in terms of pop artists. Like, oh my gosh, we love him. We love him so much. He's very good. Brockhampton also, I think, was my most played artist of the year. I think that's what my Spotify told me. And this is, I think this is Saturation 2 album cover. By the way, like if you can't tell, I changed the colors of some of these albums to make them more aesthetic and make them go with each other. Like, okay, this is gonna bring me to another tip. sometimes, like if I've already done a lot of a spread and I make one mistake, obviously I don't want to start over or just cover it or collage it or whatever. So what I do is I just take a little scrap paper of like some extra bullet journal pages. So I'll take some ones from the back that I haven't used, or let's say like I did a spread and I just like didn't like it right off the bat and I ripped it out. I save that paper so that when I make a mistake, I just glue on another piece of that dotted paper, I line up the dots, and it's like the mistake never happened. I think I did it like 3 or 4 different times on this page. Like I did it a lot, and you can't even really tell. Even from my vantage point, you can't really tell all that much. Okay, I think this is our last page. No, there's one more. I wanted to do a 2020 in pictures to remember the absolute gong show that was this past year. So just things that I was into, things that happened, things that I did. Like I have long distance for 9 months. 9 months straight of long distance with my husband. There's him on FaceTime. A mask, obviously. That is my failed attempt at doing animal print. Hand sanitizer, my favorite Starbucks drink, stationery, bullet journaling, put a little YouTube thing because I finally started my YouTube channel after years and years of wanting to do it. Reading for fun is another thing that happened this year. Lots and lots of Zoom lessons with my students. Biker shorts. I was obsessed with biker shorts all summer. I still am. They are like my favorite thing to wear. So comfy, so cute. Turtlenecks layered under everything. Okay. Resurrecting my Pokemon Go account. Clearly I was running out of things to do during this year, and my husband and I also needed something we could do as like a virtual date. So he was like, hey, you should reactivate your Pokemon Go account. And we would have multiple Pokemon Go dates on FaceTime. It was super lame, but also awesome. So yeah, here's my little Eevee and just some little Pokeballs. Working harder on building my guitar skills after a long time of not playing since high school, really focusing on fitness. And we are on the last page of this journal. I was getting really sick of this journal by this point. It was already 2021 and I just needed to be done it. I wanted to start a new one, so this was very, very quickly done. I just said goodbye 2020 and honestly good riddance, and just glued on some pictures from my mood board on my wall that I mentioned earlier. So yeah, this is the end of my journal flip through. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, let me know I guess what you thought, or any video recommendations you have for me, and I will see you in the next video.